So on your exam and on the quizzes, sometimes the main place where you're going to use the permutation formula is in questions like this. Questions where they say, solve for each, and they'll add the word algebraically, meaning that you can't just guess and check, because they found that on the exam that there was too much guessing and checking, so they added the word algebraically, so you do have to show that you know how to work with factorials and how to work with the formula. Now your formula is on your formula sheet, and it shows NPR is equal to n factorial over n minus r factorial. So how do we go about solving the first one? Well, this would be n factorial over n minus 2 factorial equals 56. And with factorials, you can get rid of factorials. Remember when we did the 10 factorial over 7 factorial? We can get rid of factorials by expanding the bigger of the two. Because 10 factorial is 10 times 9 times 8 times 7, and once you get to 7, since it goes all the way down to 1, you can cancel them out, and the factorials are gone. So when you get to a question that has variables, the biggest thing you have to decide is which is bigger, the n factorial on the top or the n minus 2 on the bottom. And if you can't figure it out, plug in a number for n. If n is 10, what number? I'd have 10 on the top. What number would I have on the bottom? I'd have 8. So the bigger one is the n on the top. And once we've figured out which one is larger, then we start expanding it. N factorial means n times 1 less times another 1 less. And when I get to n minus 2, I can stop because, hey, I have an n minus 2 on the bottom. And they cancel out. And now what does our equation turn into? It turns into just n squared minus n equals 56. How do we solve for this? We have to factor it. It's a quadratic, so we need to move everything over to one side. We get n minus 8, n plus 7. So our possibilities are n could be equal to 8 or negative 7. And if we go back to our definition of a factorial and pay attention to it a little bit more than we did the first time that we saw it. Where was it? It's on this page? Yes. Okay. For any natural number n, we skimmed over that the first time we saw that. What does a natural number n mean? That means n belongs to the natural numbers, which are equal to 0. Well, the natural numbers start with 1, and they're just positive whole numbers. And then 0 factorial, by definition, is 1. So for factorials, factorials only work if we are dealing with positive whole numbers or 0. So this one is an extraneous root. And the only possible answer is 8. Yes? From this one to this one? So by definition of a factorial, just like 10 factorial over here, means multiply always by 1 less until you get to 1. So 10 factorial means 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6. So then when we get to n factorial, I start with n. And then I multiply by 1 less. Well, how do I write 1 less than n? Be n minus 1. And then what's 1 less than n minus 1? N minus 2. And if I would have kept on going, the next one would be n minus 3, then n minus 4. And you keep going down until you get to times 3, times 2, times 1. Now, we stopped at n minus 2 because if I would have kept on going all the way down to 1, that's like writing n minus 2 with a factorial sign. And since I have an n minus 2 with a factorial sign on the bottom, they cancel out because they're going to be exactly the same. Same thing we did with the numbers. When we stopped at 7, because we had 7 all the way down to 1 on the bottom as well, they could cancel out. And then once those factorials cancel out, we're left with just a quadratic equation. So they will give you a question like part A and say solve for this algebraically. Part B, start it on a new page. If we write this out, (5 factorial over 5 minus r factorial equals 20. Part B, they wouldn't include the word algebraic in there. Part B, if they give you a value where you're trying to find r, this would be one that you wouldn't solve algebraically. You would use your knowledge and a little bit of guess and check to figure this out. Now remember that r in the fundamental counting principle was the number of spaces. So as far as figuring this one out, we need it to equal 20. We know that our starting number is 5, so with one space, we would have 5. Is 5 equal to 20? No. So we add another space. The next number would be 4. Is 5 times 4 equal to 20? Yes. So r is equal to 2. So some of them, they won't ask you to solve for them algebraically. They will allow you to sort of use your knowledge and guess and check, especially if this one, trying to figure out how many spaces there would need to be. This would be one that you could just figure things out. All right, for this one, I'd already assigned, what, 5 to 9 or 4 to 9? So now just add 10 to that.